Hi, everyone. Last episode, we covered how Blank deliberately provoked the Commerce Union into staging a coup, getting themselves kicked off the throne. At the same time, the dwarf boss Vaig, who realized his own nation had been poisoned, sent his niece to bring Blank and company to the dwarves' capital and demanded that Blank hand over the antidote to the nation's poison. Naturally, the medicine comes at a price, and the price Blank named was the entirety of the dwarf nation. Vaig grumbled about putting it on the tab, but in truth, he had already sensed Blank's real intentions. So, to confirm his hunch, Vaig proposed a robot battle where their very souls would clash. To build a robot, Blank decides to enlist Tyr, while the Feel group, who came along with Blank, goes around gathering materials for the machine. I'm just a useless groundhog. The moment she says this, Tyr blows herself away with an explosion and escapes who knows where, so thoroughly that not even Jibril can find her. After 2 days of searching, an exasperated Blank, the Otherworlders, can only go and ask the dwarf that Feel has been using as a chair to see if he knows where Tyr might have gone. But before Sora can even open his mouth, Karami pipes up. You still miss my big chest, don't you? To take this smug girl down a peg, Sora deliberately pulls out his phone and asks, Can you do that? Sure enough, Karami immediately snatches the phone and places it against her chest. She never realized this very act proved she isn't truly big-chested. See, if she were the real deal, seeing a phone would make her think of taking a photo. But this poor girl only thought to rest the phone on her chest. In other words, even if Karami got a genuinely bigger chest, mentally, she's still flat-chested. Called out like this, Karami can only make a tearful face and beg Blank to stop looking at her with pity and hurry up and state her business. Then, after Blank finishes questioning him, the chair dwarf explains, as long as that thing, Tyr, hides, not even her very clingy chief, Vaig, can find her. That thing once made a promise that if she could forge a spirit arm surpassing the chief's, she'd marry the chief. Later, after failing over and over, she ran from that promise. The chief's level may be one that no other dwarf can reach, but as long as you're a person, you'll keep trying. And Karami's chest, crafted by the chief, is perfect. I know you'll be confused by that last line, but that's because Sora asked the chair for its opinion on Karami's chest. And the reason Sora asked is that he'd noticed something. Although dwarves all have a drive to improve, they only pursue up to perfection and never pursue anything beyond perfection. Anyway, once Sora confirms that dwarves are an outstanding negative example of pure sensibility, he deduces that Tyr is hiding in the sky directly above the capital. Before leaving, Sora says to the chair, That lecture of yours where all you know is training, it's honestly hilarious. For example, fusion joining or severance joining, you've never heard of those, have you? Then, using Jibril's teleport, Blank finds Tyr hiding inside a cave. Her den is crammed with all sorts of Tyr's failed works. You see, unlike other dwarves, Tyr can't forge a spirit arm by intuition. All she can do is select the engraved sigil formulas off the catalysts, desperately puzzle out what each formula means, and then build and fail over and over, until by pure chance, she produces one that actually works. Welcome to my home. You still want me to make you a spirit arm after this? To persuade such a self-loathing Tyr, Sora rolls out the effort is useless theory to show he understands how she feels. Effort isn't always rewarded, and talent can't always be overcome. If someone at the bottom could beat a genius through effort alone, then running into a genius who also works hard would be hopeless. Those who say training will pay off go arm wrestle a gorilla. Giving up on a fight you can't win is only natural. So, Tyr, let me ask you. In a fight with magic forbidden, could you beat a werebeast? No, definitely not. Let me ask again. Could you beat an ex machina at chess? No. Then let me ask. Could you beat the greatest spirit arm smith, Vaig? I'm certain, not even if I staked my life. No. Just when Tyr thinks she's found a kindred spirit, Sora rejects her answers. The correct answer is all of them are yes, because that's exactly how reality and fact work. Watching Sora's ferocious grin, Tyr suddenly recalls how Blank actually won their battles. Let me tell you how we win. We win by cheating. That's right. Ambushing, making the enemy turn on each other, poisoning them into ruin, luring them into traps. Fiction loves to say evil never prevails, but in reality, evil always comes out ahead. Analyze, study, exploit, imitate the strong. Bottom line, as long as you can win, that's all that matters. And if you don't like the word cheating, here's a prettier way to put it. It's called creative ingenuity. Next, to further prove that Tyr hasn't given up on herself, Blank reveals that the sigil formulas Tyr uses actually all come from other races, including, of all things, the elves. If you're so sure you're a useless groundhog who can't do anything, then why do you still look up at the sky and keep forging spirit arms? Those words light a spark of hope in Tyr. So, after Sora promises to fly Tyr higher than the sky itself, they set to work building a spirit arm. First, they swipe the Marrow Blast on display and extract the divine marrow, the sacred water inside it. Then, they apply to this marrow the exact same sigil formula used for the divine bust essence. Unsurprisingly, the marrow's concept isn't rewritten. Instead, it causes a huge explosion. Thankfully, Jibril reacts in time and seals the blast, or this story would have ended right here. Interestingly, even though Tyr thinks the result is a total failure, Sora considers it a total success. In Sora's view, the saying, "failure is the mother of success," is dull, because he thinks success is merely a byproduct of getting lost along the way. As for Vaig, who can reach results through intuition alone, Sora declares flatly, this time, Vaig will lose. All right, to beat Vaig, we'll have to work together. Kindred spirits. Sure. As friends, we'll do our utmost for your victory. In return, as friends, once you win, you'd better reward us. After Sora, Phil, and Karami confirm their cooperation, Sora has Jibril notify Vaig. The match starts at noon, 4 days from now. But the crucial venue and the full roster of participants, Sora keeps secret. He'll only explain them 10 minutes before the match begins. While Sora's group builds their spirit arms, Steph Dola, by reporting to the tax office that a shop is using currency notes without permission, instantly tracks down the Dream Pharmacy's location. It turns out that after investigating, Steph saw through Blank's method of triggering the coup. Here's how it went. When Blank sold Harao's photo collection, they used it to heavily promote the benefits of the printing press, mass printing and distributing it. And this move let the very commerce union that Blank had been suppressing spot a business opportunity. So, exactly as Blank predicted, they used a strike to launch the coup. Then, again as Blank predicted, issued currency notes within a single week and got them circulating nationwide within 2. Foreseeing that a flood of notes would appear, Blank opened the Dream Pharmacy after the coup to collect those very notes. So, is Blank switching careers to become rich merchants? Of course not. What Blank wants is to insert onto the currency notes a secret code that only the Ex Machina or Shiro can decipher. Anyway, after Steph analyzes all this, she heads to the Dream Pharmacy and demands that Emirinis take her to see the vanished king. At first, Emirinis refuses. After all, there's no need to add to her own list of love rivals. But when Steph threatens, "I'll admit that I like Sora. Are you okay with that?" Emirinis has no choice but to obediently close up the shop and set off, bringing this genius from outside the game toward her beloved's location. Soon, we reach 1 hour before the match. The venue Sora designated is a waste processing plant where only the sacred flame is still running. The nominal participants are Blank, Tyr, Karami, and Feel. Jibril isn't competing because she holds a vast amount of spirits inside her. If she synced with a spirit arm, she'd burn it right up. Blank and Tyr form one team, the 3 of them each holding 1 core catalyst, jointly operating a 6,000-year-old antique. Feel and Karami form the other team, each with 1 core catalyst, with Karami piloting solo. This arrangement is because the elves have a poor at handling tools trait. During the building of Feel's spirit arm, she tried piloting herself, but the very next second she moved, the machine did a faceplant. So she can only serve as support. After Blank's side confirms everyone's status, Vague shows up, piloting his spirit arm. And wouldn't you know it, Vague's spirit arm has an extremely realistic chest on it, and it even jiggles. If Vague were using a female-type machine, fine. But no, this machine's exterior is a scaled, horned robot. As unsettling as this robot is, there's no helping it. The game has to begin as planned. The conditions both sides laid out are the same as agreed last time. Blank side loses if all their core catalysts are destroyed. Vague loses if his spirit arm's greatsword is destroyed. Neither side may use magic beyond the spirit arm and its sigil formulas, and no new players may join mid-match. Then let's brawl. Make yours truly acknowledge you with your souls. As the battle starts, Blank tries to open distance from Vogue, while Karami hides. Naturally, Vogue doesn't let Blank do as they please. The moment they retreat, he uses a simulated teleport, appears right in front of Blank, and slashes down. Since souls sync with spirit arms, Vogue's soul erodes Sora's soul, making Sora see a hallucination that doesn't exist. My body belongs to Master, yet you've never once touched it. In the dazed illusion, Sora gets the consent of a big-chested little sister and starts to reach for Jibril's chest. "Bro, that's a fake! Snap out of it!" At the real Shiro's shout, Sora comes to. The bad news? The chest he was reaching for in the dream was his big-chested sister's. The worst news? That sister is gripping his hand, refusing to let it go. A fake is just padding. It's fine to touch. Of course, Sora isn't convinced by Shiro. Although Blank dodged Vague's slash, they still break into a cold sweat. What scares them isn't the ultra-fast swordsmanship. It's that Vague's big chest resonance greatsword also turned the very stone statue it cleaved big-chested. Even a statue? You only accept a big-chested statue? You nitpicky freak are the real deviant here. It's not just Blank who's shocked. Vague is equally shocked that Blank could dodge his strike. In Vague's understanding, his niece's spirit volume shouldn't be enough to let Blank's machine perform a simulated teleport. Yet Blank's machine did teleport. Vague also figured Blank couldn't possibly react to his attack. What method did you two use to pull that off?
Cheating, obviously.
Since Sora won't answer, Vig doesn't hold back either. He immediately readies his next move. And just as Vig is about to act, he takes a sniper shot from Kurami. I see. So yours truly is a worthless ant with no reason to live. Hey, you dead scrap material, what's that supposed to mean? Even though Vig punches Kurami's bullet aside, he's still affected by Fiel's soul. You're the only one whose intent differs from everyone else's. If I say it, I might suffer a mental collapse. Perfect, 'cause if I win, that's exactly what I'll order you to do anyway. Through this back and forth exchange, Vi quickly realizes that Blank has rigged the entire venue. It turns out Blank learned Vig's every move through the venue's broadcast feed, and beforehand, they set up teleport anchor points around the venue. Step on one, and you teleport. Besides dodging attacks, this lets Blank open distance, hide, and resupply ammunition. And not just the venue. They put work into the core catalyst's firepower, too. They deliberately let the catalysts run wild to cause explosions, then fire ultra-fast rounds. On Fiel's side, they also prepared several trump cards. The first, abandon boosting machine performance and use all the sigil formulas to strengthen the cannons. The second, Fiel's revulsion. Since a spirit arm links to the pilot's will, as long as a bullet Fiel fires touches Vig, it can interfere with Vig's will and briefly suppress him. The third, a simulated teleport bullet. Exactly as it sounds, a bullet that ignores distance. The fourth, 2 sigil formulas attached to the pair. One is a sealed emotion formula. The emotion Fiel sealed is a rage beyond killing intent. How dare you lay hands on my Kurami and even call her a fake? The emotion Kurami sealed is simpler. Pride in being flat-chested. My flat chest holds my very soul! The other formula Fiel prepared is internal time acceleration. I don't think that one needs much explanation. Since the battle is hard to show on screen, I'll just describe it simply. At first, Blank and Vague grapple, while Kurami provides covering fire from afar. Basically, Blank's attacks all land on Vague, while Vague's attacks are all dodged by Blank using pre-input commands. In this fight, Fiel's side also uses the tactic of pretending to shoot Vague while actually attacking Blank, driving Blank and company into a frenzied killing intent state. After more fighting, Vague sees through Blank's predictions, and Blank falls sharply onto the back foot. Seeing things go wrong, Fiel decides to play their third trump card, the simulated teleport bullet. This shot perfectly strikes the chest of Vig's machine, sending it rolling several meters. Unfortunately, this isn't enough to break Vig's spirit arm, the great sword. Worse, it makes Vig realize that Blank is the decoy, and that he must deal with Kurami's side first. The next second, Vig leaps in front of Kurami, intending to finish the two of them with one slash. Facing this dead-end situation, Fiel and Kurami activate their fourth trump card, trying to decide the match right here. Meanwhile, Blank's side isn't idle either. They're barely managing to block the countless scimitars flying at them. Although these scimitars aren't as fierce as Vig, the main body, Blank's machine is fast reaching its limit. Every time it knocks down a scimitar, a part of the machine falls off the main body. When only the last 5 scimitars remain, the machine can't move at all. And just as Tyr thinks it's over, we're gonna soar on Tyr's wings! The next instant, an explosion goes off beneath the machine's feet, sending the whole machine into the air. This position lets Blank use the machine gun to knock down all the remaining scimitars at once. is the greatest moment you've dreamed of, isn't it, Tyr? How's this view? Though Tyr is moved to tears by the view up in the sky, Blank's machine still finally crashes to the ground, turning into an immobile hunk of iron. At the same time, a defeat notice comes in from File's side too. As per the deal, the rest is up to you. Oh yeah, it's frustrating. All right, we had our fill of fun too. Next, it's Tyr's turn to play. Huh? Me? There's no way we can win. No matter what machine we use, we can't win. His vagues question? Shiro and Bro couldn't answer it. But if it's Tyr, if it's now, you can answer, right? Tyr, why did you run away?
After Blank, the machine, is defeated, Tyr rushes out of the cockpit and at furious speed repairs the broken warhammer. As for Vaig, after finishing off Feel's side, he immediately returns to Blank's side. Looking at the iron hunk lying motionless on the ground, Vaig is furious. What angers him is Blank clearly had the power to fire bullets this devastating, yet wouldn't let those bullets carry any soul. Meaning Blank had no intention of communicating with Vaig at all. When are you going to answer yours truly's question? Right now. Let me answer your question. Suddenly, a chunk of iron carrying Tyr's intense soul strikes Vaig's machine. In that instant, Tyr's pain erodes Vaig's spirit. A contradictory girl who, though she'd already given up, still shed tears. A girl the world treated as unneeded and cast onto the scrap heap. A girl alone, weeping, swinging her hammer. You ask why I ran from this world? What a stupid question. Because I hate a world like that more than anything. I love the sky, and this country's sky is blocked off. I ran because I was fed up. I ran for victory, to keep my promise. I ran to surpass the chief. The instant Tyr finishes shouting, a torrent of terrifying power gathers into Tyr's hammer, the 1% Heaven Strike. It turns out this venue was never any hunting ground. The venue's true identity is the machine itself. From the distant cockpit, Tyr uses Jibril's power to transform the entire venue into a mobile fortress 74,200 meters long, 9,700 meters tall, with 982 cannons. Not only that, Tyr pours her entire soul into the ammunition. In this moment, a barrage of scrap iron shells rains down over the whole venue. Normally, an ordinary dwarf with hair who tried this would instantly explode. But because Tyr is hairless, she's able to control this power. Of course, doing so isn't without cost. The excess power could kill Tyr at any moment. Seeing his niece in such danger, Vaig actually considers deliberately throwing the match to let Tyr win. But before he can, Veel's scrapped machine is charging energy, preparing to fire one super powerful full-screen attack. The Marrow Blast, engraved with the Forging God's blessing and now linked up. Though he doesn't know whether unleashing this thing would make him lose, Vaig is almost certain Tyr's body very likely won't hold. So Vaig moves at a speed even the cameras can't catch, trying to stop Tyr's action. At the very moment Vaig's fist meets the cannon barrel, Vaig's and Tyr's souls clash, and their shared past floods into everyone's minds. In the past, Tyr was always clingy toward Vaig, while Vaig found her annoying. One time, Vaig said impatiently, "A useless girl like you will never think up how to forge a spirit arm, not in your whole life." Hey, why? I'll work hard, you know? That's not something effort can solve. You can't grasp even a simple truth like that? I don't get it. I don't understand. Besides, Uncle, you never wanted to understand why I don't get it. You just declared I can't do it. In that case, Uncle, you can never surpass your own limit either. I'll forge a spirit arm that surpasses you, Uncle. Fine.
Then, forge one that surpasses yours truly, and come challenge me. I'll wait for you to become a woman greater than me. It's a promise. After Vig recalls this past, he realizes the one who'd been running away all along was actually himself. You think plunging into the scrap heap together with Tyr, like me and Shiro, is what not running away means? Yeah, that might be right. But it might also be wrong. The flashback ends. Vig walks out of the ruins carrying the unconscious Tyr. Now his beard and hair have lost their luster, gone rusty looking. Watching his niece sleep peacefully in his arms, Vig finally, like a snapped greatsword, buckles at the knee and collapses spread eagle on the ground. The ending is my brat niece's total victory. Watching Vague like this, Sora explains. The reason he didn't unleash a soul attack is that Vague still isn't a worthy opponent for him. An ideal big chest is far too small a thing. If you're going to chase the ideal figure, you should carry the spirit to chase a woman who far exceeds the ideal. In other words, chasing a mere perfection? That's the limit of yours truly. Anyway, this battle comes to a close. What's rather surprising is that in the final impact, the Great Sword's divine bust essence resonates with the essence in the cannon barrel, and this resonance randomly redistributes the chests of every woman in the vicinity. Tyr becomes extremely big-chested, Karami and Feel become flat, Steph, who came to watch, becomes supersized, and Amir Ainz becomes full-figured. The concept is so chaotic that these victims decide to call this resonance the divine bust essence. Also, the true purpose of this soul battle wasn't only to exchange views on which chest is best, it was for Blank to play Cupid, to reconcile Vig and Tyr, and thereby get Vig to agree to help humanity. Sorry, I was in the wrong. Thank you for letting me see the sky. As your close pal, let yours truly help create your future. Hearing Vague say this, Sora vows in his heart, once we've cleaned up this world, you're next, Earth. Then, a night passes, and Blank and company hold a celebration at a bar. Session 1, convened. The What Exactly is Master's Preference thorough investigation meeting. Yay! Yay! There's nothing to investigate, though. Isn't this a victory party? The townswomen surround Sora and start researching exactly what kind of woman he likes. At first, the discussion is quite jolly, and Sora chimes in with fitting retorts. But when Steph raises one question, the whole place falls silent. Sora, why do you, only like petite figures? Because my sister Shiro allows it! There's no other reason. Of course, Sora doesn't say this out loud, because Sora is certain if he answered honestly, something bad would happen. Watching Sora caught in a dilemma, Shiro wears a "go on, spit it out" expression. And just as Sora is truly out of moves, shook him off. I made my escape. Jeez, I waited forever. I nearly died. Why'd you take so long to get here? It
Turns out Tur didn't know she'd become the dwarf's chief. She thought the fellow dwarves who came to congratulate her were coming to kidnap her, so she fled to Blank's side. After Tur explains, she of course refuses to take the position, and even turns down Vig's marriage proposal along with it.
Let yours truly complete your place to belong. I'll carry you all the way to the very top. No thanks. I hate the chief most of all, and there's a limit to how much you can tease people. It turns out Tyr did like Vig when she was little, but ever since Vig kept turning her big-chested and harassing her, she came to utterly hate him. Seeing Tyr's reaction, Blank finally notices. Tyr never once said, "After I surpass Vig, I'll marry him." My place to belong is already decided. It's here. I'm these two's big sister. I like it here. You can see the sky from here. And so, Sora gains a big sister, and Vig gets rejected. But Vig doesn't give up, because before Tyr left, she told him this. Once you've reached the planet of big chests, come talk to me again. Clap! So Vig resolves to create a planet with nothing but big chests. With the dwarf matter settled, let's return to the poison Sora planted. Here, I won't string you along like the novel, I'll just give the full explanation directly. It turns out that around the time of Horu's consort, Blank gathered the members of the Commerce Union and using the covenants had them sign a contract. In the future, Blank would use a strike to launch a coup. When other races came to recruit them as inside informants, they would record the intel those races told them onto the currency notes in Japanese and report to Blank regularly. When the time came, they would gradually reveal everything they knew. And finally, they would forget all the contract's contents. To put it more plainly, Blank used leaving the throne as a decoy to let other races approach the Commerce Union members. Then, Blank, having opened the Dream Pharmacy, could easily obtain the other races' intel. And any race that had contacted the Commerce Union, if they didn't come to Blank for the antidote called the Japanese language, would have all their secrets laid bare in the sunlight. At which point, the nations and races would fall into a life and death war of attrition, and if it dragged on to the end, they'd sooner or later be destroyed. Currently, the races confirmed to have contacted the Commerce Union are the Demonia, the Elves, the Fairies, the Lunamana, the Dampiers, and the Dragonia. For now, it's only phased. Before fatal intel leaks, buying the antidote becomes unavoidable. Our shop's customers will be an endless stream. But at a price like the entirety of your country, surely no one will meekly pay up. That's right. So, let the game begin, mighty ones. Strangely, 1 month after the rebellion broke out in Elkia, the entire nation vanished from the map. All right, that's the content of No Game, No Life, Volume 10, Part 2.